In this video, we are going to look at one of the more difficult rules involving indices, called fractional indices. In these cases, our index or our power will be a fraction instead of a whole number. First, we will do a bit of revision. Well, we know that the index or power of a number tells us how many times to use the number in multiplication. So, for example, we have 8 to the power of 4. We know that we multiply our base number, 8, by itself 4 times because our index number is 4. We also know that when we multiply two expressions with the same base, we can add our indices through the index law of multiplication. So, for example, if we had 8 to the power of 4 multiplied by 8 to the power of 5, this is equal to 8 to the power of the index number for the first, 4, plus the index number for the second, which is 5. So it's 8 to the power of 4 plus 5, which is 8 to the power of 9. So what if we're given the example 8 to the power of a half multiplied by 8 to the power of a half, where our index numbers are fractions rather than whole numbers? Well, because they both have the same base, which is 8, we can use the index law for multiplication. So that'll be equal to 8 to the power of the index number for the first, which is a half, plus the index number for the second, which is also a half. It's equal to 8 to the power of 1, or just 8. So, does there exist a number when multiplied by itself gives us another number? Well, what about the square root? Well, if we look at it, if we have the square root of 8 multiplied by itself, what does that give us? Well, it gives us the number within the square root, which is also 8. So, if we know that 8 to the power of a half multiplied by 8 to the power of a half is also equal to 8, we know that the square root of 8 is equal to 8 to the power of a half. Let us look at another example. So we have 8 to the power of the third. Well, how many times do we have to multiply 8 to the power of the third by itself to get my index number to be 1? Well, let us multiply by itself once anyway. So multiply by 8 to the power of the third. Well, we know that's 8 to the power of the index number the first, plus the second, third, plus 1/3. That's equal to 8 to the power of 2/3. So, we'll go again. So we have 8 to the power of 2/3 multiplied by 8 to the power of a third. This is equal to 8 to the power of 2/3 plus 1/3, which is equal to 8 to the power of 1. So, a to the power of a third, when multiplied by itself 3 times, gives me a. This tells me that a to the power of a third is the third root of a. This can be written as third root of a is equal to a to the power of 1/3. So, our general rule can be written as a to the power of 1 over n is equal to the nth root of a. So, this rule tells us that if we have a fractional index like 1 over n, it means to take the nth root. So, an example of this would be 27 to the power of 1/3. This can be written as the third root of 27, which is equal to 3.